Scrappy Wednesday, I thought it would be a fun idea to show you guys how I recreated this card and this card into this card. The other days of Christmas cards that I did, I made entirely from scratch, which is kind of why I just thought doing quick speed throughs would be the best way to get those videos out. But with this one, since I was repurposing 2 cards to create a new one, I thought it'd be a good one to do an actual Scrappy Wednesday video on, to really talk you guys through how I did it. With a little background with these 2 cards, this first one that I showed, which for some reason I was dumb and didn't take an actual picture of it, so you're just gonna have to deal with this small little clip that I'll put in slow motion so you can actually see the details of the card. This one was from a friend that I no longer talk to, and it's just been lying around because part of me is like, she made this card for me, even though we were friends when she made it for me, like, should I get rid of it? There was just part of me that wanted to hold on to it, but at this point, 2020, you know what, like, you let go of all things, and so I decided, you know what, I really do like bits and pieces of this card, and the rest of it was kind of fading out in color, so I was like, okay, we're gonna take a snatch of that. And then this second card was from my grandma last year. She always gives really cute styled Christmas cards, and I'm a sucker. Like, I like to keep I have cards all the way from freaking grade 1 birthday parties. Like, I keep everything. So I really like the design on this one, but I thought, you know what, it would be cool if I took the majority of my grandma's card and remade her one to give to her this year, because she really likes when I make the cards. So I thought that'd be a cool little spin and be like, here, you gave me this card last year, now I'm gonna give it back to you in a different form. So that's what I decided to do. So without further ado, saying do a lot, let's just jump right into the video. Alright, so after getting all of my gold and red themed supplies out, I started cutting up this card into its 3 sections, and when I was cutting it up, I left a bit of the red outline of each side out a little bit and didn't want to completely get rid of it because I thought it'd be a cool little extra mini layer to add on. And I distressed the edges of this card with a brown color from the Tim Holtz stamping ink and ripped off this gold cardstock from the first card because I didn't feel bad about ripping up this card because, like I said, it's from an old friend who I do not speak to anymore, and I've been itching to repurpose that card for a few years now. So after I measured out how big this piece of paper would have to be, I distressed the crap out of it and put some red ink on the outside of that one. I don't know how to call it embossed, but it's like a 3D print of stars on that paper, and it was mixed amongst the scraps of my collection, so I thought this would be a nice little backdrop. I do wish I was able to see more of the stars because it feels like I wasted it a little bit, but it still looks really pretty, so just focus on that. So I dropped it down just a little bit, but then I realized that I still wanted to use 'Tis the Season part. So I distressed it and put some red ink around the edges once again and put it closer to the bottom, because that way, after putting it on top of the red cardstock to bring out the color of the 'Tis the Season more, it would cover up that ripped up section of the gold cardstock. As you can see right there, I'm kind of fiddling, but yep, that was the goal, to put it there. I thought it still looked a little bit plain, so adding a doily seemed to look the cutest. Now, the only problem I was finding, though, was that because this picture of this card was so big compared to the actual cardstock size I was using, there wasn't too much room to do my usual layer upon layer things. So I ripped up very small pieces of the card and kept the red line. After getting all of my ribbon out, though, I realized I didn't actually like how plain and flat the doily looked, so I grabbed it and ruffled it up to distress it a bit. And I think I added some brown. I honestly can't tell. I'm pretty sure that's what I did because I don't have this card within me anymore to really check, but let's just pretend that I definitely did use brown, and that's it. That was the goal. So this extra ribbon I actually grabbed from a scrap of this old product that I bought from HomeSense, but I was thinking, you know what, that's a perfect gold. It should look really, really nice with this. And I fiddled with this bow for a while to try to create it because even these scissors were super dull and it just was not working. And then I realized, nope, I'm gonna ditch that idea. But I really still wanted to use this ribbon, so I decided to plug it in there and it would peep through just slightly with the extra lace ribbon. On the 'Tis the Season little page, I ended up using a little bit more of the scrap ribbon that I used just before this on the corner edge and glittered the crap out of the bottom to make it look kind of like the icicle thing I've been doing with the other cards, but instead add some more gold. No, I didn't. So instead of the usual embossing powder I was using, I decided to start with this new stuff that had like chunkier looking ones, and added on a few of the gold as well. So it gave a much different look than what I was used to. I decided to add on some extra layer and use this little scrap feather that I found. And on its own, it looked pretty ugly and gross, but then as soon as I put it underneath the ribbon, it looked really pretty and just added some extra softness to it. On this doily, I ended up using a lot of the same glitter glue as before. And if I'm being completely honest, I actually really regret using these thicker gold glitter on top of here, because I don't know, it just, as soon as I put it on, I was like, wow, that looks a lot chunkier than I was hoping for. So then I was like, oh, maybe I'll try to salvage it with like the small glitter around the doily, and I don't know if it looks too busy or not. What do you guys think? So I ended up putting some snow embossing glitter over top of the gold just to make it subdued a little bit more, and heat pressed it down so it wouldn't completely come off. When you're heat pressing your embossing powder though, make sure you're not too close, because it can phew away all of your powder and then you have to start over. So that's kind of why I use glitter glue underneath, so that it's like an extra little secure. I still wanted to put some ribbon here though, so I decided to use my little stripy string thing that I don't really know what to call it, like twine? It's not really twine, it's still like a string, but it was more of a subdued look than the big giant gold ribbon, and it gave me extra room to put in these silver snowflakes. Unfortunately, I didn't have any gold snowflakes, otherwise I totally would have used that instead, but there was still silver in the picture, so I figured that still looked really pretty. And then I put my signature little 7 there as well, and it worked out that 7 actually had the red accent, so it went with the rest of the card. That was a happy accident. So then I just pretty much ended with putting some random bells and little snow balls or whatever around the edge, and icicled up any edges that I felt needed it. And more of that thick, chunky embossing powder. It's definitely my new favorite. Like, I love this stuff. It looks so much more like snow. So with those little finishing touches, we are done. Alright guys, so ends another Scrappy Wednesday video. I hope you guys enjoyed it and maybe got a little bit of inspiration from this little recreation card idea. And yeah, if you'd like even more inspiration, feel free to follow me at Meraki_memories. I'm never really sure what else to say at the end of these intros, because I feel like everything pretty much got said at the rest of the video. But yeah, all in all, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.